How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions while you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. Why did the math book visit the guidance counselor? It needed help figuring out its problems. I know it's kind of stupid. But anyway, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN, which ended up having a slight pullback inside of the market. We also did see a strong sell-off near the end of the day. So I must say, it held itself up fairly well. And I know I want to make sure that you guys are updated going into tomorrow, so I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to be aware of those key levels in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. The reason why the short interest is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as for the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $7.58, being down 1.81%. On the low, it tested $7.38, and then on the high, testing $7.91. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 11.549 million shares, and for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 18.705 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some pressure on the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 41.70. And as we take a look at our moving averages here, you can see that we are below the 21-day EMA, as well as for the 50-day, the 200-day, and as well as for the 100-day. And as you can see, we have been on quite the downtrend, but we do have some consolidation that has been going on. As far as where we tested on the day in regard to the low, we ended up getting down to $7.38. So going into tomorrow, we did have a strong sell-off near the end of the day. You don't want to see this area hold up. If it doesn't hold up, then of course you're going to want to see some support hold up here right around $7.25. As far as for the high of the day, it was literally just underneath the 100-day being at $7.91, and the 100-day is at $7.95. So we could see clearly we have some resistance right here at this $8 level. I talked about this previously as well. So you're going to want to see OCGN gain some momentum above 8. If it's unable to do that and it keeps getting rejected, this is part of the reasons why we can end up seeing this pullback continue even further. So now you have an idea what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as a bullish case scenario. So let's see what the market gives us going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for OCGN. So scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look here at the most recent filings, we see for November the 22nd, we have Variable Insurance Products Fund that purchased just over 50,000 shares. And you know what? That's actually about it. Now, when we take a look at the short interest information, the dark pool short volume ratio being at 52.65%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 5.8 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.1 million, updated 15 minutes ago. And then for the short ball free rate, it's at 1.95%. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 18th, it was at at 42.99, and then for the close of the 19th, which was last week Friday, it was at 52.65. So OCGN does continue to have short squeeze potential, and that's part of the reason why there's a lot of volatility inside of this play. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we can see here on the inflow it was 21.36, and then on the outflow it was 20.06. So we ended up having an inflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown even further, you can see on the large it was 1.71, on the medium it was 13.16, and then on the small it was 6.49. When we take a look at the outflow side, it was 0 on the large, on the medium it was 13.05, and then on the small we had 7.01. Keep in mind these numbers are in the millions. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, November the 22nd, we ended up having an inflow of 1,710.65. So taking a look at this breakdown even more, we could see for the small scale side that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying, but we still had some buying that was coming into the play because the difference was only 6.49 million versus 7.01 million. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the large, we had more buying than we had selling. We had 0 for the large. So what that possibly tells us, institutions were not selling out. Instead, they were buying up some shares cheap. And now when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 5.90%. And you know what? This is not too bad whatsoever. It is still quite a liquid stock. There's many people who are selling. We also know we have traders that are inside of this play, but for the most part, there are still many who are holding on to their shares. And that's what gives you a lot of confidence if you're invested in this play. And this is why I say there's no reason for you to be buying at the highs whatsoever. When you see those dips, take advantage. As long as you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence, you should already know what these areas are. Plus, I talk about them on this channel. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, we saw towards the end of the day, we had a strong sell-off inside of the market. So if we end up having a pullback that goes even further, then I'm looking for us to continue to hold up the $7 level. If we are able to do this, then of course I can see a lot of people coming in to buy the dip. But if we end up breaking through 7, that's when I'm going to consider taking a position inside of this stock. I got a question about that on my previous video, and that's what I'm actually looking for. I'm looking to get in the $6 range. And also when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, this play does continue to have short squeeze potential, and also from the recent institutional filings, we do see institutions have loaded up on shares. Also, when we took a look at the order flow distribution, we saw as far as institutions are concerned, and this is potentially, there was buying, there was no selling whatsoever. And most of the selling that was happening was on the retail side, but we still see there is demand because many are still buying up the dip. And I just want to make sure that is something that you are aware of. And this is why I always say you do your homework and you do your due diligence before jumping into this play. You just don't want to go in there and buy it at any price. You want to make sure you're getting a good deal. And this is why I say take advantage of those dips when they do present themselves. We also do know there are many traders that are going in and out of this play, so that's going to contribute to the overall volatility of the stock. And you got to make sure that you have the stomach for it. I get a lot of messages saying, Dre, what's going on with OCGN? Again, if you are holding this stock and it's messing with your mental health, then you need to go back to the drawing board and come up with the right decision that's going to help you feel better. All right, I want to make sure I really emphasize that, because at the end of the day, this is a biotech play. Yes, there's a lot riding on it, but we also need to be realistic here. And the last thing that you want to do is be inside of the market, invested in stocks that makes it hard for you to sleep at night. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.